introducing our category 3, 35 plus, 45 plus, and the 55 plus. The sun is out and it's heating up. Coming down now to 10 seconds out.
All right, hey, this is Sea Otter 2021.
Racetrack, start your engines and go!
And this is the circuit race, Laguna Seca Raceway. Racing on the racetrack. It's early, this is 8 o'clock. This is Friday morning. Teammate and I think we each woke up at like 3:15 and met up at like 4 to drive over here. Had to wait in line to get our numbers, had to kind of scramble, and then they're supposed to stagger the starts like 2 minutes apart between all the fields, and then they said, everyone to the line, we're going to start you and race you all together and score you separate. So this is let's see, Elite Category 3, 35 1-2-3s, 45 1-2-3s, and 55 1-2-3s combined but scored separate. So kind of changed the race dynamics a little bit. Kind of bummed this wasn't a USAC sanctioned race, which seems kind of weird, but I don't know why. I guess I'm just used to doing those races. It seems like Sea Otters is kind of a big venue up in Monterey. It's usually, I think in like April or May, so it's definitely, late this year, doing it in October. There's Dave Casel, Super Dave on my wheel right there in the rear view. This is the kind of the uphill climb to the top of the course. That's Dana Williams behind me there, the Mike Spikes kit with the Stars and Stripes. So we're the 45 plus, we're the 700 series numbers that you'll see mixed in with the other fields that I mentioned. And so this is like zero warm-up, which is really less than ideal. It was literally like clip in and go racing. Big field, everyone's trying to go hard, and right out of the gun without the warm up, and that noises me cross chain. And I kind of big winged it up the hill pretty much the whole race. I didn't ship into my small chain ring in the front, but you can see by the power. I mean, we're putting in some watts. It says about 9-10% grade here. Kind of levels off a little bit, but it's still uphill to the kind of the crest, the breakover point we'll see in a little bit, and then it drops through the corkscrew. But this is a fun race. Kind of got some guys congregating there where the little SRAM neutral car is. As the race progresses, you'll see, I think, more and more guys kind of posted up there, but the corkscrew is kind of like, it's kind of my bread and butter, because I could descend through it pretty good. These guys were just taking just really wide lines, so if I wanted to top two the pack, I would come underneath these guys every lap, and just carry my speed, not have to touch brakes. If I wanted to, you could kind of stay top tube all the way through here. Do this right-hand sweeper and in through the left, coming up here. But it's first lap, just kind of testing things out. Once I got warm, my legs felt really good going up the hill. So it's kind of like, you got this climb, and then you got the second half to kind of recover through here on the soft pedal and coast. And you kind of surf all the way here. It kind of goes into this little kind of downhill, and then it kicks up again right before the next little pedestrian bridge we go under here, before kind of the hairpin switch back, which kind of gets us back down on the front side of the course here. But yeah, I went hard. I actually kind of went too hard, because I think coming in at 2 to go, I just pulled the plug. I went from feeling great until I wasn't feeling great, and I just felt terrible. And this is a Friday, and I'm just going to come back on Sunday and do the road race. I did a really hard race ride on Wednesday. Last weekend on Saturday, we did this California Classic, which is like this kind of century Bondo ride or whatever. It was sold out, so we kind of, a few of us lined up without our team kits on, and I went solo off the front on that, I think 5 miles in, and soloed away for 95 miles, did 100 miles in like under 4 hours and 20 minutes. I hit a detour, so I ended up doing like 102.5 miles. So I was, solo away for 95 miles on that one. I think I was at like 3 hours and 300 watts normalized. And then the next day we did this really hard race ride. So it's just like, I think I need more time to recover. And then waking up at 3 in the morning today didn't help things. But and I kind of had in my mind, like, I wanted to get into a breakaway. But with the dynamics, where they say, hey, we're all lined up together with all these good fields, like, it's tough to get away because there's so many more guys that kind of want to get in that break and go away from their own field. So I ended up spending, probably too much time on the front, which is, I guess, my MO. But usually I have enough fitness to kind of make it actually pan out. But it just wasn't the case today. So, some of the hitters in my field here, Dana Williams in front of me, he went on to win the race. I think I was in the front group with him, and I think me and him and 3 other guys in the 45s that were kind of in the front group. And when I got popped off on the climb, I didn't even fall back. I kind of just soft pedaled to the front and pulled off, and I've had a pretty successful race season this year, and this is kind of the final weekend of the race.
Dragging the whole field.
Dave telling her I'm dragging the whole field. He's right. And I think Jason, the yellow kit, he said something. God damn it, Tucker, or something. Like, why are you pulling so hard up the hill? It might be this body. Next lap. There you go.
What is your problem?
God damn it, Mark, what is your problem? He's a good dude. And then the other guy in the rear camera there, kind of leaning over his bars out of the saddle. That's Scott Giles. He's also a former national champ. Got in a breakaway with him at Cantua Creek earlier this year, road race. I was able to ride away from him for the win there. But and he seemed like he had really good fitness coming up his hill throughout the race. And so he's a good breakaway guy. And so I thought, like, and maybe he gets up the road, I can bridge out to him. But again, you're just dragging too many guys, like Dave was saying. All our fields are intermixed here. Here you're almost to the top. You just want to start coasting down the hill, and someone attacks. But listen, Scott kind of attacks. But I mean, I felt so good on these downhills. Like I could make that 25 position without pedaling on these descents. So I hope Scott does the road race also on Sunday. So we get a good break mate to try to work with in the road race. This is just a fun course, though. This is kind of a famous racetrack. A lot of guys don't like MotoGP. I think there was Indy cars on and stuff too. But I felt like we had some decent separation here. Maybe it's just too early in the race. Because I think I pulled through and kind of tried to keep the pull in front of him to give him some shelter. So we got a little headwind been coming into this little, when it kicks up this uphill anyway. And I guess in the Pro 1-2 race yesterday, I think like a 6-man break formed, maybe even on the first lap. And it's only a 60-minute race, so if you're going to snap the elastic, I guess you don't have quite as much time to do it. But their brakes stayed away. Yeah, I think I was like 356 normalized for 45 minutes. And I didn't realize how much fatigue I had in my legs this week, so we'll really try to recover this weekend, take it easy, and then road races on Sunday. This again here today is Friday. Road race on Sunday for me at 10. So. Coming into the third lap, I think we ended up doing, it was about like 5.5 minutes per lap, so maybe 10 laps, 5 minutes, maybe 11 laps, I'm not sure. They haven't put out lap cards yet, I'm just looking at the, kind of the video timer. And I think the wind really picks up here during the day. So that was one nice thing about racing at 8 in the morning. There wasn't a ton of wind. I guess you can get really strong kind of crosswind and headwind on the climb. Enough of a breeze was noticeable, so you can try to kind of stay sheltered here. And that's a 300 series rider, so that might be an elite Cat 3 guy, not Masters. So I'm definitely trying to kind of keep the pace high and see who's feeling it and who's not. But I'm watching this, like Dana Williams behind me, super accomplished racer, and all these other guys, they're dropping. I probably should have shifted into my small ring and just kind of spun up this hill a little bit more, and kind of saved the legs, because I think the big ring and my cadence drops down here a little bit once we get on the steep part. It definitely starts to put some fatigue in your legs. That's Larry Nolan behind me. He's got more national champions than I have fingers. Super strong guy. He's 60 plus guy, and he's got a really good sprint, really crafty racer. Raced for Pete's Coffee this year. And then here comes Scott kind of up the inside. I think he comes around me, or maybe I just kind of stay next to him. Kind of rolling the power on a little bit here. 600, 650, lap after lap. Not having totally fresh legs. I didn't realize how much I was kind of hurting myself until kind of later in the race. I thought, man, I'm kind of suffering here. I think Piers behind me, the Thirsty Bear guy. He's a solid rider, really good dude. Had a lot of fun racing with him. Baker City Classic up in Oregon earlier this year. Stage race up there, that was a fun one. He's a strong rider. I think he might have been the only Thirsty Bear in my category at this race. So I think because, it's late in the year and a lot of guys have already kind of called it a season or switched over to cross or starting other stuff or just do it kind of off season. Didn't have a huge turnout. We get a lot more, and plus it not being maybe a USAC sanctioned race like most of our NorCal races that we do are. corkscrew coming into downhill. About a third of the way through the race now. I kind of I don't know if I had to when I chose to, I guess, kind of scrub my speed right there, because I was just going to let my momentum carry through and then kind of rail the outside, but I just didn't want someone to close the door on me. Good race surface, but kind of get over on the red and white stuff and kind of washboardy. There's some grooves and stuff, so easy to jump on, but definitely should have sat in more on this race in hindsight. But it's a cool venue. Tons of exhibitors here. This is like a big bike, I guess, festival and kind of trade show. It's really kind of a mountain bike thing with a little road racing sprinkled in. They had a Grand Fondo, they had a gravel ride, they had a downhill mountain bike, they have enduro, e-mountain bike racing. And so in past years they would have a crit, a circuit race and a road race. But no crit this year, which is fine because the crit was not enjoyable crit. It was basically down one straightaway, hairpin U-turn, climb up, hairpin U-turn. It's just kind of this hot dog crit that was just, and it was such a tight U-turn that you just couldn't get any kind of momentum or any rhythm going. It was just like, slow down, speed up, slow down. And, so I don't miss the crit at this one, but the circuit race is kind of the one. It's fun. Because you're on this racetrack. I think it's like a 2.2 mile lap. It's funny how, if you watch cars or motorcycles race on this thing, they just go flying through these corners, and then you get some of these guys on bikes that just aren't maybe comfortable kind of doing the high-speed turning stuff, but they're touching brakes on the corner that's going 30 miles an hour. You get these motorcycles are railing through these corners like 100 miles an hour on the gas. So it's kind of funny, but this time definitely it looks and feels steeper on a bicycle than it does if you're watching like any in-camera on bike motorcycle footage of Laguna Seca. It's a pretty day. You're only maybe 8 miles from the beach or kind of inland from Monterey. Just kind of hilly, coastal. It was cool, but it wasn't. You're racing and was. I think Dana's got on one on the guy in front of me, but it wasn't that cold. Like I wore just a sleeveless kind of base layer. On the shirt and the road suit, and that was it. I wore the jacket and vest until the race started, and then I took this off right before, but pretty good. So here's another 600, 650 watt effort, 666 up the hill. And I didn't need to. I should have just kind of fell back on this climb, saved my legs, because I can always make it up on that corkscrew descent, and the run out from that carry a bunch of speed. But it's like right here, you want the hill to be over, and then it's just this. You think it's kind of leveled off, but you're still 6-7%, but we were 10% before, so it doesn't feel quite as bad. But and this is. Start to get a little wind here regardless, because you're kind of at this high point. It's to open, and then you kind of just drop back into the corkscrew here. a quick downhill. Kind of big right hand sweeper, left hand sweeper, right hand sweeper, and then left. But all downhill. I came underneath that guy and I just kind of really coasting. This is one of those races where I should have put the rear camera on the big screen and picture-in-picture, put the front camera, because there's kind of more of the race to see behind me, I guess, than in front of me. There's some guys kind of moving up on the right side here. I see him moving through the frame. I think these guys are just Elite Cat 3s, all the 300 series numbers and stuff. Kind of just jump on and do a little recovery here. So my teammate Richard was in this race too. He's 35, so he started a couple spots ahead of me at the start, and then I kind of gassed it to get towards the front. I think this is Andrew Connolly in front of us, Team Fremont. He's a NorCal racer, 35 plus guy. Strong. Had some fun racing with him in the past. Like he had good legs today. Yeah, so there's one guy off the front, one Elite 3 guy. He's from Colorado. He ended up staying away and winning, I guess winning the whole thing, winning his category away. Staying away solo here, for 40 wins. So I don't know if certainly if you train at elevation and you come down here to sea level to race, it's got to feel pretty good, I would imagine. If you used to breathe in, mile high air all the time, you kind of get acclimated and train to that. And coming down here, it's probably, his legs probably felt awesome. So kudos to him. But yeah, super safe race. Like I don't think there's any mishaps or. The hill's pretty chill in terms of race carnage or anything like that. The long zone wads it up, coming through the exit of the corkscrew or something. It's a well laid out course for pretty safe bike race. But we're back on the hill again. And then again, not even on the steep part yet, but still putting in 450 watts. So it's kind of 3%, and then it kind of just, I don't know if it levels off or it just kind of has a little, almost level, I guess, to 2%, and then it just kicks up again, 1%, and then it will go 4%, 6%, 7%. Scott Giles. So I didn't need to cover this. Even if you got a little gap, these guys. Those are all lap riders. It might be. But you kind of fall back and, like I said, file in, and I think we got 2, 4, 6, 8, like 10 or 12 wheels ahead of me. 13, maybe 14 wheels. And once we get to the course strip down there, we're just kind of able to uncork it pretty good. And so, you know, I got 65 hyper wheels, so pretty aero. And it has all 7. So I just rig that guy back and just kind of stay down and low. And so I just gained all those spots back and really just kind of throw a little counter here at the end. Looks like there's still a couple of guys up the road here. I think those guys are on the lead lap. That might be Scott. We kind of charged up the hill there. Let's see, because I think I roll up to them. But you know, I mean, you know, 200 watts, you feel like you're recovering here, but I'm kind of curious who the 2 guys are up there, because they're definitely at the front. They're not like lap riders or anything, so. Let's see. Don't remember if we, I feel like we catch those guys. The guys are still kind of maybe 50, 75 meters up. Get right before the climb. Coming up on the kind of the midpoint of the race here. Yeah, that was Scott and Dana. They kind of had a good little gap going there. I needed maybe one more to kind of take turns. But these guys come through. But I don't think any of these guys are masters guys. They're just some of the elite 3 guys come hammer up. So I just kind of hang back here a little bit, try to recover. Another 500-600 watt effort up the hill. Oh yeah. But every lap. And now we're 640, 650. That's Scott Dana right here in front of me. So as long as I kind of keep these guys in sight, and Super Dave, he's like a couple of wheels back, but he never too far back where he'd ever get out of position if he needed to react on something. Yeah, so the crowd's growing here. We had one guy the first lap, and we went to everybody, so 11, 12 guys. I think there's a little gate opening there, and guys on that mountain bike trail kind of pulling and watch the top of the race right there. So it's easy, I mean, just closing on these guys, and then 0 watts. So in hindsight, I didn't need to hammer up the climb, because whatever gap I open up on the climb by not going so hard, I can close on the descent without using watts. So that would have been a much wiser, more intelligent strategy than just a smash fest. But like I said, it ended up kind of catching up to me. I was fine till I wasn't, and I was like, that's stage right. So I didn't care. Had enough successes, that's okay. Having a failure on this thing. So, and trying to save my legs a little bit, like I said, for the road race, which I'm looking forward to. I think I got maybe 2 more laps on my legs. I just stopped pedaling. I think I almost threw it on wonderful through it. So I'm gonna stop pedaling for a second to something like kind of roll around here. So Dana kind of comes through. And pull out that guy who's not in the field. I'll probably reel him in on the climb anyway. Climb. There can be really big crosswind here, like in the P12 race. I saw a clip of guys were totally gutted on the right side up this climb, and guys are trying to stay sheltered. We're like riding in the gravel up the hill a little bit just to try to kind of echelon right and stay sheltered. But because it was early, so the wind hadn't picked up much. And, we'll have wind will be at full sail on Sunday, starting at noon versus this race starting at 8. I think they're going to shift, and maybe they go to small ring on this one. Looks like we got some better cadence. The cheering section's still there at the top here. So I'm starting to feel on this. You can see how many guys come around me on this climb. I don't know how many bikes that I put past on the climb, but I mean, like I said, I can kind of just rail these corners and bring myself back up, so, but I just needed a little more recovery and a little less fatigue coming into this race, I guess. Like I said, I think I got one more climb in me, and then I gotta pull the ripcord on it. I kind of caught back on here. I even moved up here. So, you know, 30 wheels back and come through half a lap and I'm back on the front, so. I should just save some more to, you know, do it on the last lap or something. But, I don't know if I could have Pop's doing it. He was riding super smart and strong. I didn't realize until I was watching my video. Man, he was spent a lot more time in my rear view than he did in my front view camera. Just smart riding. Yeah, I think this is kind of my last time through at race pace since we start finishing up this climb. And said it felt good till I didn't. I think we see 3 to go on this one. This is pretty good.
Riders, 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. 1 rider in front, 40 seconds. 1 rider on the front, 40 seconds. You have 2 laps to go. 2 to go.
Yeah, I heard 2 to go, but I think he misspoke. I pulled off and they came through 2 more times after he pulled off. This is where I'm dying here. Oh, this one hurt. This is my last climb at this place. And after I come to the bridge and hit that second face, at some point I just swing left and everyone's kind of on the right side. Just kind of hug the white line. Just watch everyone go up the road. And yeah, I'm starting to go backwards pretty good too. And they're going to the small ring. Right. Oh, my left, I guess. I'm just like, this is it, man. I'm done. That's all she wrote. Pole's over. And bye-bye. So that was my race. Hopefully I'll race a little better, a little smarter on Sunday. Thanks for watching.